Hey everybody, welcome back to Chipod Ironicast. This is your November 2015 episode. We're going to have a great one.
I can't wait for Turkey Day.
Turkey Day.
Turkey Day.
Mine was yesterday, and I spent all day today doing dishes.
Oh no.
It's fun though. I get to eat everything again and again.
That's nice.
But that's later. Right now, we're going to talk about the Game Awards, Valeron, and some changes that have been coming to YouTube.
Whoa.
That's the... and, of course, finishing up with answering a question that was sent into us by you, the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, one of your annual gaming highlights is coming up very soon.
Yeah, it's... So yeah, there's the Gaming Awards.
The second annual.
Second
Gaming
annual.
Awards.
It used to be VGX beforehand. It used to be a Spike TV thing.
And it was the VGAs before then.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
VGAs. And it was just something I really enjoy watching just because it's like this really terrible, shitty, like, award show, quote unquote, that's just commercials for video games. And it's always embarrassing in some capacity. Probably the best one was when they had Joel McHale co-host it along with Jeff Keighley, because Joel McHale did not give a fuck about that thing. It was kind of shitting all over it the whole time he was hosting it. And also there's just lots of little oddities, like all the weird cogs spinning in the background of the set, and how Jeff Keighley...
Cutaways to the VIP lounge from year to year.
Yeah.
Because award shows need a VIP lounge.
The how Jeff Keighley was dressed that particular one, he had about 6 layers of clothes on because apparently the set was in the Arctic. In lots of world premieres.
With lots of quotation marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just it's really bad. But I love this like terrible clown show of like marketing and like trying to appeal to what is thought to be the core gamer.
Yeah, as far as award shows for media, it's got to be the worst one, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
It couldn't possibly be worse.
I'm just trying to imagine an award show for any other thing that gets televised in any capacity, and it being so shilly the whole time.
There's a lot more time dedicated to ads for upcoming games than awarding achievement in the previous year's games.
Yeah, and like there's, not last year, but the year before, they had like a whole pre-game show thing going on, essentially like, hey, stay tuned, we're going to be talking to people behind the scenes and all that before the show gets going. But they announced about 2/3 of the awards like just on the carpet before the show happened with like no fanfare. So it's just like, oh, hey, The Walking Dead, you got nominated for Best Story. Well, here's the trophy. Bye. Because I needed to make more room to tell you world premiere, Titanfall's going to have more than one kind of robot. There may be up to 3 different robots.
Oh my word.
A fast one, a slow one, and one in the middle.
That does remind me, there's a news article not long ago where Jeff Keighley has said the Game Awards will be shorter this year.
What?
Yeah, they're looking to fit it in 2 hours rather than 3.
Oh, okay, thank God. It's still going to be long and torturous then. Maybe it'll be slightly... a little less painful, because last year's was really bad.
Here's the key quote. We probably had a few too many world premieres last year, Keighley laments.
Maybe a couple. When you say you can't use the phrase world premiere unless it's a new video game that nobody knows about.
So I think the reason it's not great at all, one of the reasons it has no legitimacy is that it doesn't represent a large body, I guess.
No,
it's... like there's no industry-wide organization that's responsible for this. It's Jeff Keighley and some friends he's made.
Yeah.
And you can look up on their website.
There's 30
who
people.
These friends are.
I mean, it's like, oh, look, Hideo Kojima. Well, he's friends with him. There's like, I can't remember the other people. It's like a lot of industry people that you've heard of.
Are you talking about the advisory board?
Oh, no, excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking of the advisory board.
The advisory board is, there are 10 people listed. 2 of those people are corporations. So.
Well, corporations are people, so.
Yeah. There's Peter Moore, Kojima, Phil Spencer, Reggie, Rockstar, Valve, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
But the fact is, no matter how big this advisory board is, or there's also a jury who actually does the voting.
Yeah.
For their juried awards, and that's 30 people. 30 people.
Okay, 30.
So, like, on the one hand, Steven Spielberg votes for the best director Oscar every year. So does everyone else in the Directors Guild. The entire Motion Picture Academy.
Yeah.
Votes for these things.
It's just, I don't know. It just feels so weird to have this thing, especially since there's so many other game award things.
Right. Every news site does their own end of year stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Pretty much. And it's just there are a whole bunch of other Game Award things, but none of them feel as commercial as this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess so. There is one I can think of that was also incredibly commercial, but it was also the very first ever Game Awards thing, and it was called Cybermania '95, and it was hosted.
Oh my god! Was Hulk Hogan there? Because it sounds like Hulk Hogan was there.
No, he wasn't there. However, it was televised on TBS, I think. It was hosted by Leslie Nielsen and Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, yes. A real passing of the torch. Sure.
There was a Naked Gun joke segment without saying Naked Gun, because I don't think they could. There were Hillary Clinton jokes. And there is an entire category dedicated to just best multimedia entertainment.
Isn't that what the game would be? Like,
no, when they say multimedia, they mean FMV games or interactive CD-ROMs. So one of them was like Prince's video game thing. I think it was Prince. I'm pretty sure it was Prince or David Bowie that had like this weird interactive musical CD-ROM thing.
I don't know. I think the interactive planetarium that came with Encarta deserves some recognition. Man,
I love that quiz dungeon crawler thing in Encarta. That was legitimately great.
So are you going to be, I'm sure you're going to be watching it. Are you going to be streaming as you've done in previous years?
I really want to, but the issue is that it's on a work day. And it's at night, I think, but I don't know if I'll be free that night. I really hope I am. I
got the day off just for Star Wars tickets, okay? You can...
It's true.
You can do this.
Also, that reminds me that literally the day after that is when Sony does their own mini game conference thing. So expect a lot of stuff at the Game Awards to just be like really vague trailers that don't tell you anything about the new game for the PS4, and then they'll say, "Come watch this thing tomorrow. Bye."
Okay, are you excited for Chiverches and Deadmau 5 to perform?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
Chiverches.
Cool. How about the statue designed by Weta Workshop, huh?
What?
Yeah. Have you seen it? It looks like a really angular hood ornament.
Is there anything about giraffes? Because for like a solid year and a half, Jeff Keighley was like obsessed with giraffes, and I've never been entirely sure why.
It is a winged woman.
Well, okay, it's not really giraffe-like.
It seems to be made out of the Fortress of Solitude. Very, very crystalline, very angular.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
So who do you think is going to take it? Witcher 3 has the most nominations, so that's something that gets mentioned in every news article.
All right, can you send me a link to these nominations now? Because I completely forgot entirely how stupid the nominations are for these things every single year. Because it's... Anytime... This happens a lot to other places too, but anytime there's like, oh, it's time to do our deliberations for like Game of the Year and Best Blank, everybody forgets what games were released for the first 2/3 of the year. If it didn't come out before like September, like it's not going to be considered probably. I mean, a lot of games do come out, you know, around September, November.
Bloodborne was pretty early in the year, and it's getting attention.
Yeah, people remembering Bloodborne at least. But yeah, I just really enjoy that for a lot of these things. It's just like, oh, it's just the big releases of the year.
Well, of course it is.
And
let's see. I'm just look at who is nominating them. They're going to nominate their stuff and the stuff they're familiar with. It's all people want to people with the big budgets and the huge I guess zeitgeisty AAA stuff want to make sure that that's recognized as good in a broad sense.
There is one category that I saw that I thought originally was just like, it's called Games for Change.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, oh, these are games, you know, working towards...
Like socially conscious games.
Yeah, socially conscious games. But I've also heard other people go, oh no, that category is for games that are really cheap and inexpensive. And when I look at this category, all these games are cheap and inexpensive, so I don't know what's happening.
At the same time, it could go either way.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, Undertale, Sunset, Life is Strange, Her Story, Sybil, like, all of those are $10. Life is Strange technically is more, but I guess they might be just counting as like, oh, one episode is like $10. So, I don't know. Undertale is in both Games for Change and also Best Role-Playing Game against Witcher 3, Pillars of Eternity, Fallout 4, and Bloodborne. Fallout 4 is going to win that.
Is it?
I wouldn't be surprised just because I feel like... It feels like it's the default. It's like, oh, Fallout 4, I was very excited for that. I'm still excited for it because it came out recently.
It's the game that's still in my system. So
yeah, it's the last one I played and the one freshest in my memory. I'm going to vote for that one.
I don't know. We can't count out the awesome judgment of a jury including OS Gamers, IGN, the LA Times, Penny Arcade, Wired. Come on, these are...
Oh, yeah. And my favorite category, let's not forget, Trending Gamer. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but it's pretty obvious that all this is sour grapes because we've been snubbed again. Let's just come clean, lay it out on the table.
One of these dudes on the list, I don't even know who he is. Like, okay, Total Biscuit, Greg Miller, Markiplier, PewDiePie. I know who all those people are. Who is Christopher Monte Cristo Meekles?
Well, he was arrested and kept in an island prison for a number of years.
His Let's Plays
now
are really
he's
good.
Back.
He's a trending gamer. He's definitely trending. He's trending because he broke out.
The sweetest revenge is living well as a trending gamer.
Oh, man.
Don't you think it's odd that fans can only vote on a certain subcategory of awards?
It is pretty weird.
But here's the question. If every award was, like, say they go to their jury to get the shortlist and let people at home vote for the award, do you think they'd be more or less predictable, more or less interesting in the winners?
I feel the type of people this specific award show draws in, the people who are actually interested in watching it, would probably vote for the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel people are like, oh, I want to get the little guy nominated, aren't going to be the type to vote for this thing. They're going to vote for a thing created by their community.
So let's see. Do you think anyone's interested in our predictions?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's just go through them real quick.
Okay. Game of the year, I'm going to say... I think you've convinced me. Fallout 4 is my prediction.
I think Fallout 4 will get it, too.
Dev of the year, I'm going to say Kojima Productions posthumously.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be too surprising if people pick that just because it's like, oh, rest in peace.
MGS5 could win Game of the Year on the same sort of updraft.
Yeah. I still feel people are just... The amount of hype I've seen for Fallout 4, both like...
Yeah.
Just on the internet, just in general, but also like people I know and people at work, it's like, holy crap. People are taking a whole week off just to play this game and do nothing else. Even I didn't do that with Metal Gear. I just took a day off.
Best independent game, I'm going to say Rocket League takes it.
A lot of people really like Rocket League. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's... I want to say, maybe possibly, if not first, close second would be Her Story. Because I've seen so many people tripping over themselves to really like the fact that you have to piece a story together and then ignoring how bad the story is.
Well, your story's not the same as my story.
Yeah.
Or her story.
The wind and the rain.
Best mobile/handheld, I think Fallout's going to take this one as well.
Shelter, because everybody was going crazy about that, and a lot of people played it for a while.
I mean, it had such an exciting release, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the few games where you can play it now was actually cool and good, and people did, and had a great time.
Yeah.
Best narrative, I kind of want Until Dawn to win, because I love shitty teens.
I haven't seen that much of Until Dawn, actually.
Oh my god. Okay. Some friends of mine, friends and acquaintances, have a Let's Play series called The Overshare. Well, it's named after their improv podcast, also called The Overshare. But just look them up on YouTube. They did a fantastic Until Dawn run. It's so good. But if I'm predicting, I think The Witcher 3 might take that. I mean, this jury obviously loves The Witcher 3. It has more nominations than anything.
Yeah. For some reason, I think it's going to be again Witcher 3 or again Her Story. I think for some reason I just feel like, oh, everybody was so impressed with the format of that game, and that alone so hard that people will just vote for it whenever they see it.
Okay, best art direction. I'm looking at this whole list, and I think it's a good list, but there are some games that I wish had gotten on as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've seen all of Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
How does the art direction feel?
If
it wins, do you think this is more a credit to the Fox engine compared to the art direction itself?
If it won, I think it's just because people are going to go like, whoa, the Fox engine is amazing. More, because it looks like a Metal Gear game. And I think what it loses out on for like going like, yeah, this is really great art direction, is that for a very long portion of the game, you're just running around in a desert, which only has so many colors and ways you can art direct it.
Yeah.
There are really impressive parts of that game, though, so...
But yeah, the neon wetness of Batman Arkham Knight is great.
Yep.
Bloodborne...
cool designs,
fantastic
and everything.
Atmosphere.
Ori and the Blind Forest is just a really well put together, animated looking game.
But on the other hand, where the hell's Splatoon, huh? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. But I think I'm going to predict Bloodborne. That's where I'm putting my fake money, because I'm not putting money on any of this. I'm not that dumb.
I'm going to say Ori and the Blind Forest.
All right.
Just because it's like, oh, it's 2D, but like really lush looking and vibrant. And they'll go like, that equals art. When I think of art, I think of looks like painting and colors.
You've got a real cynical outlook today.
I mean, Bloodborne seems pretty likely too, but I'm thinking maybe Ori, yeah.
Well, we have to disagree on some of our predictions, or else how are we going to know who wins?
Yeah.
Best score / soundtrack: Fallout 4, MGS 5, Halo 5, Ori, and Witcher 3.
I think either... I think it's either Metal Gear Solid 5 or Witcher 3. Witcher 3 because it has like these really long, sweeping orchestral things that aren't memorable, but they're very good for ambient stuff and atmosphere for the game. And people are like, yeah, I love the world that game, so they might go with the music for that. If people went for Metal Gear Solid 5, it's because people really like 80s music. Because there's I
really like 80s music, so there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good song choices for that game, so.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm taking MGS 5 on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you know what? No, I'm going to go with Fallout 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
All right.
Best performance. I'm predicting... I think I'm going to go with this is the one Life is Strange takes. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Life is Strange wins in at least one of its categories.
This is the one.
I think the best one out of all those is honestly Mark Hamill. Just doing the Joker stuff, because it's really great. It always is, but...
I had a great conversation with my Friendsgiving guests about Mark Hamill's career last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We debated whether the motorcycle accident was the best thing that could have happened to his career.
Mm-hmm.
So he was taken out of ever being typecast as a, fresh-faced Luke Skywalker ever again.
Oh, right.
So he had to diversify and develop and do more fun and interesting things.
Yeah. Best performance, I think... I think it's probably going to be Life is Strange.
Yeah.
But I also think if there's any other one that's going to win, it's the lady from Her Story. Because I've seen a lot of people commend her acting in that.
Mm-hmm. Games for Change. Now, does your prediction depend on what that means?
Yeah. If this is games that actually something social, it would probably be Life is Strange.
Yeah, I think Undertale has a real chance, though.
Yeah, I just feel
wait, where the hell was Undertale for best soundtrack, for best score?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
I would personally say Undertale, for myself, but I think Life is Strange will get it because more people... It's been out for longer, and there's been... I feel more mainstream people know about it than Undertale.
Well, this isn't being voted necessarily by mainstream people, but by representatives of 30 different gaming press outlets. Which is where Undertale just sort of caught on like a slow wildfire.
Yeah.
And just spread around think piece to think piece until...
I still think Life is Strange is going to get it because more people are going to connect with humans.
Maybe my prediction is wishful thinking.
I want Undertale to get it. I want Undertale to get something. Come
on. Best shooter. Here's Splatoon, as well as Battlefront, Halo 5, Destiny.
Well, I mean, me personally, Splatoon. I think it's going to be Destiny.
I was going to say Halo 5.
I haven't really heard too much about Halo 5, actually. After it came out. I think it's going to be Destiny, though.
Okay.
A lot of people are still playing it. I think a lot of people are still yeah, I'm really enjoying grinding away at this.
Best action adventure. Oh, I'm saying the Phantom Pain.
I think this is where Phantom Pain gets it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're in agreement. Watch us both be wrong, folks.
Yeah, probably.
Best RPG, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, and 3 others. What are you going with?
Fallout 4.
Yeah,
it's going to be Fallout 4.
It's going to win that one.
Sorry,
Fighting
Undertale.
game. We've got a Guilty Gear. There's our first anime all day.
Hey, anime. Well, Undertale's pretty anime.
Anime is not real.
Oh my god, is that what you picked?
I said it.
Oh no. Fighting game.
This is something I
only
just feel
4
out
nominees.
of the loop on. Yeah.
Only 4 nominees because there
were only 4 fighting games this year, don't you know?
Yeah. It's Mortal Kombat X is what I think will get it. Yeah,
I haven't heard of Rise of the Incarnates. What is that? Or Rising Thunder? I'm not getting a rise out of either of these.
I don't know Rise of the Incarnates that well. I know Rising Thunder is like a fighting game being worked on by some fighting game commentator. It's all robots fighting each other. I think.
It's the free-to-play one that has really simplified inputs.
Is it? That game isn't finished though. I think it's early access.
Well, they also announced the nominees before Fallout 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider were out.
That's true.
So there's that.
Best family game.
Both of those Rise named games are free to play.
Oh, huh.
But yeah, I'll go with Mortal Kombat for my prediction as well. Best family game. I think Super Mario Maker is going to make it. That was tougher than it should have been.
Yeah, that one seems pretty clear cut because a lot of people really like Super Mario Maker, and everybody's still talking about it.
It is the only one nominated for Game of the Year from this list.
Yeah.
But I'd be pretty happy if Lego Dimensions won.
Is Lego Dimensions pretty good?
Yeah, I hear it's great, and also because it would be the first. It's the first good Doctor Who video game. Thank you very much. Right. Hey, every time the Doctor dies and explodes into studs, he respawns as the next one in line.
Oh my god.
It's fucking awesome.
That's really good. That's a great detail.
And they're like, every incarnation is animated differently with like different idol stuff. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyhow, best sports/racing game.
Oh god, I don't know. Rocket League, because it's the only one that looks like a video game. Everything else is a fucking simulator. Who cares?
People love their Rocket League. Best multiplayer.
Call of Duty, Destiny, Halo 5, Rocket League, or Splatoon.
I think this one's kind of wide open. I'm going to say Destiny, though.
Yeah, probably
if
Destiny.
I'm calling the odds.
Yeah. Because again, I feel like people who are so way into that are way into it.
So if anybody has been listening with a pen in hand, maybe making some sort of Excel sheet. On December the 3rd, right?
Yeah, the 3rd. It's a Thursday.
You'll be able to see how wrong I am.
I'm going to have to make this list myself just so I can see.
Yeah.
How close we are.
Okay, do you care about the fan voted awards?
No, not really.
Yeah, that's
several of these categories, I don't know. Esports Player of the Year. I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. Kenny S. Shrub, Lee Faker Sang-hyuk, Olaf Meister.
I've heard of Faker at least.
Peter PPD Dager. I don't know. I don't know any of these people. Esports Team of the Year. I don't know any of these people.
But anyway, if we have to go back to how awful the Game Awards are and how they're just a crash commercial exercise rather than anything they're meant to be, there's a most anticipated game award.
Yep. What's really funny...
What's your favorite trailer? Let's give them an award.
What's really funny is that Uncharted 4 is on here. Uncharted 4 was on last year's most anticipated game ballot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, games get delayed all the time.
Did not win.
Yeah, that's just such a weird category because it's just that game's gonna get delayed, man. You know it. Horizon Zero Dawn, that's getting delayed. No Man's Sky, that's probably getting delayed again. Quantum Break, oh yeah, totally delayed again. Last Guardian, uh-oh. Watch out.
That's gonna win every year for the next 5 years. most anticipated Kickstarter campaign.
That'd be a real fucked up one for like Sony or Microsoft to like sponsor so they could just figure out what game to kickstart for next E3. Just gauge the interest before you even gauge the interest.
Yes. Well, that's that, I suppose. And now let's move on to our next segment.
Woo!
Next segment. Anyhow, a little more than a month ago, at the time of recording, I went to Valeron, the first, apparently the first annual, fingers crossed for next year, gaming convention that's not only in Chicago, but in the heart of Chicago. It was actually right in the center of the loop, across the street from Macy's. You can't get more central than that.
Yeah.
I had a fantastic time, which was kind of surprising. Let me give you some background.
Okay.
Now, you, speaking to you, not to the general audience, you, Chip, you. I believe we spoke about this last year. Valeron was supposed to launch in 2014.
Yeah, that's right.
They had a really badly managed and organized Kickstarter campaign to raise some last-minute funds to launch it that year. Mm-hmm. And they got a hold of me, and like I was going to be volunteering for them, running games. I gave them a lot of names for people they could reach out to and get like a sort of publicity network, because that's how crowdfunding works. And it fell through. They were nice people, like, oh well, this didn't work. But then with the extra year to prepare, they just did it the standard way. And then, I was kind of anxious. That's why I didn't hype it much until it was so close to the event. It couldn't be canceled.
Okay.
But anyhow, it did happen. And after that experience, it was a huge turnaround.
Nice.
They rented out a pretty sizable space in a commercial building, like I say, right there on State Street. Had a real good time, and I used it as an opportunity to sort of officially represent the 6 Feet Under podcast experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had shirts printed up, had a bit of a meetup at a bakery, ran out of shirts. If you are listening, and you were there and you saw me and you'd like a shirt, but you didn't get one for whatever reason, contact Ix. He will hook you up.
How many shirts did you bring?
About a dozen.
Oh, okay.
We ran out.
All right.
Yeah. But that was a fantastic 2 days. I had a 3-day ticket, but I didn't go on Sunday because I was going to a friend's wedding and wound up with vomit on my pants. But that's a different story entirely. No. Very different story.
Was it a baby?
It was not a baby.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell the story today.
Okay.
It's a good story, though.
Okay.
Anyhow, Gnome, also known as Jacob Brandolph, designer of Fellowship and Inverse World, among other things, who's another member of the 6 Feet crew. He drove down, crashed at my place, and we both went on Friday and Saturday. Met a lot of fun people. I also did a bit of networking, so I've got some plans for future episodes that are pretty exciting. Though I'm not going to go into them in case they just are plans that evaporate.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. Anyhow, you want to hear about some of the programming?
Yeah, I don't really know what was there at all. So,
well, what was there? It was a sort of a gaming of all stripes thing. So they had a bunch of consoles and PCs open for just people to walk up and play. They had some. They even had some locally made indie games that were showing off like alphas and betas.
Oh, cool!
I played this one cool platformer that I don't remember what it was called, but rather than a health bar, everything that hit you gave you either positive or negative energy, and maxing out on either end of the slider would kill you. but positive energy would make you jump higher, and negative energy would make you jump longer.
Huh.
So you had to sort of egg your way on one side or the other to make certain jumps, or you could figure out different paths through the levels depending on your play style.
Weird.
Yeah, it was cool. At the end of the demo, you go through an ending door and you loop around to Out of Bounds in the beginning of the demo. So it's pretty early days. But I'm excited to see how it turns out.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, it was neat. But in addition to that, there was a big tabletop zone, a lot of people running games, both scheduled and pickup games. There's a whole lot of card gaming going on. And of course, digital card gaming. There's a whole lot of machines just for Hearthstone, as well as an organized tournament. But it was a good time. I got involved in this year's because I was invited to join a panel on gaming podcasting. It was called Gaming Podcast 101.
Okay.
I was on that with James and Kat of One Shot. And Campaign, which is fantastic shows, both of them, along with Megan Peterson from the Jankcast and Tanya, oh gosh, I forgot her last name.
Oh, geez.
But she has the, it's either All Out of Tokens, yeah, it's called All Out of Tokens podcast,
okay,
which is a good show too. She's also the creator of the I Need Diverse Games hashtag.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Tanya DePass, I want to say, but please don't quote me if I'm wrong. That would be mortifying and embarrassing. But that was on Saturday, so let's do this in order. Friday, show up, mingle, meet people, and the four people from Campaign. Campaign is, like I said, a 4-person podcast where they play a campaign using the Star Wars Edge of the Empire system.
Okay.
And it is bar none, hands down, my favorite podcast I listen to. Like, of any topic, any format, whatever. I just love that show so much. And they did a pretty good panel on making likable characters, playing likable characters, which for a show meant for audience consumption is very important, even more than it is like your character better be likable or Jeff isn't going to show up next week, and Jeff brings the chips. So, but in any case, likable characters are a fun thing to have. And they had some really good insights. They were recording it, so it will go up eventually on their show. I think they're still scrubbing audio and maybe waiting for a week where scheduling gets messed up to sort of plug it in there.
Okay.
But when it goes up, I recommend listening to it, especially because I didn't hear the end. One of my favorite thing they had all weekend. Are you familiar with the Artemis Bridge Simulator for PC?
Oh, is that like spaceship bridge simulator thing?
Yeah.
That was actually here in town a couple months ago, but I didn't get a chance to try it out.
It is so cool.
It looked really cool.
The way it works is you just imagine every Star Trek thing ever.
Yeah.
Where you've got a bunch of people and there's a captain barking out orders and everybody apparently has a job to do. And basically they reverse engineered those film and TV scenes into a system that actually works like that.
Huh.
So it's sort of asymmetric cooperative multiplayer, like the like keep talking and nobody explodes sort of.
Yeah, or like a more simple thing like Space Team.
Yeah, the same sort of I guess segment of experiences is what they're looking for. So on my first run, it was Jacob and I, and he was the science officer, which means he had all the scanner information.
Right.
And I was the gunner, so all I could do was shoot things. and I had some other abilities like changing the on-screen view, because the way they had it set up wasn't just a bunch of people sitting around computers. It was a bunch of people sitting around computers in a room that was wired up to colored lights. So if you raise the shields, the whole room goes blue. You know, if someone hits the red alert button, the whole room turns red and starts flashing.
Right.
And the main display, which is the only thing the captain could see, is projected on a flat wall on the back of this room. And it was so much fun. It was the two of us and a bunch of people we'd never seen before. Because it was 4 people. It's a 6-person experience when it's all full. It was a lot of fun. We saved every starbase, we killed every enemy, and we didn't die. So that was great.
So
now, go ahead.
What is the actual interaction stuff like? Like you said, you were the gunner. How are you doing that? We're just hitting a button and like I shot them. Or?
Basically, it's all mouse controlled point and click stuff.
Oh, okay.
I went back the next day to be the helmsman, which is pretty similar, except you're clicking different buttons. So you just set your phasers to auto fire and wait for the science guy to tell you which phaser frequency is good against the specific shield you're shooting.
Yeah.
And fire torpedoes at will, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Meanwhile, someone on the other side is dealing with trying to keep the ship pointed at the bad guy so you can shoot, while also trying to keep your strong shield pointed at the bad guy and hoping that the engineer is paying attention to which shield needs more power. And it's all you're really interreliant, which is the fun part. And it does matter because the next day I went in the evening and tried it a second time, which is when I was steering, and that crew was garbage.
Oh no.
We died in the first 15 minutes.
Oh my god! How long was the full thing when you succeeded?
It's like a hour. You sign up for an hour block, and they had 2 rooms going side by side.
Okay,
it's a lot of fun. Of course, this wasn't my fault. We came back and finished the rest of the time by we basically just respawned and started over.
Yeah.
And in the second run, which we did a lot better at, that was the time I set a mine and then forgot I had the ship in reverse and backed over the mine.
Oh.
So, but we made it out okay.
Okay.
But anyway, that's Artemis Bridge Simulator. I wonder if it's available for people to just try at home and like talk over Skype or Mumble or whatever.
I don't know.
Because if it is, I want to get on that. And if anybody listening to this has a chance to have the whole like AV set up, it's so much fun that way.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Friday. I'm trying to think of other things I did Friday other than, I played a little Double Dash. What? Of course I did. I'm me. But that's not that interesting to talk about. We probably should have done this closer to the date, but this is the first podcast we recorded since then.
Yeah.
Saturday was the big day. Saturday was my panel. Saturday was the fan meetup. That panel didn't get recorded, but that's okay. I mostly made a lot of the same points that regular listeners will recognize. I'm the guy that says them. Stuff about making the show you want to make because you're stuck with it. And finding something that's unique about either your perspective or your approach or your format, something that's going to make you stand out against all the similar people.
Yeah.
Like how this show has a big segment in the middle where we talk about literally anything other than games or LPs.
Yeah.
Although this is a gaming convention, so that's kind of a stretch this time.
Similar, but it's...
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's a branch.
It's a branch. But that was a lot of fun to do that. Listen to GM Roundtable that was being put on a panel including Ken Haidt, Nathan Paletta, who Feats listeners will recognize as the guy who designed and ran Worldwide Wrestling RPG.
Okay.
He's a great guy. Will Hindmarch, who has a lovely beard. But that was good information too, just different GMing techniques, and I'm hoping to step up my game for Feats.
Okay. What was the attendance like at Valeron?
Attendance was surprisingly strong. Like, they really... I don't know if they got close to selling out.
Okay.
Because I don't know what would be considered a sellout, or like the fire marshal getting upset. But it was fairly crowded.
Okay. How big was it?
Oh, I mean, it's a first-year thing that... Oh my god. I swear I did more promotion of this thing than they did.
Yeah.
Like, they put on a good show, but they are not PR people. They are not advertisers.
Right.
But considering that, they filled the space pretty well. I'd say they had... Oh gosh, you know what? I know exactly how I can look it up.
Oh, okay.
Boop, boop, boo. They did... okay, you know how the Harry Potter House Cup works?
No, actually.
Well, you know the basic idea that there's 4 people and doing good things gets you points?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's... They basically did the same thing. Like, when you register, you can sign up for one of their 4 groups, and then they'll give you... and if you do good things, you get tokens, and you put them in a cup for your group. And at the end, they said who won. Mine won.
Okay.
Yeah, I selected mine by a random roll of a D4, and they won.
Nice.
But there were about 600 people registered in that system.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
And I don't know if everybody who bought a badge played along with that.
Okay.
So I'd say maybe 700-800 total.
Okay, that's pretty decent for first year.
For, yeah, anybody registering either a 1 or 3 day badge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good show.
Cool.
It was so much fun though. My highlight definitely has to be the 6 Feet Under fan meetup at Magnolia Bakery. Yep. First, because I love Magnolia Bakery. But it was great to meet all these awesome people that happened to be at least semi-local.
Okay.
I mean, nobody was coming in from like North Carolina to a local Chicago gaming con just because I said I'd eat cupcakes with them. But I shouldn't have been surprised that there were so many Columbia kids who listened to the podcast. Columbia College Chicago represent. All right. The Getz Theater. In loving memory of Sheldon Patinkin. But that was a good time. We just sat around, monopolized the sort of food court they have in the basement of that building, because it's the only place with enough chairs.
Okay.
And chatted about, like, whatever, stuff they like about the show as sort of an icebreaker, and then we mostly talked about movies and whatnot. Mm-hmm. One of them gave us presents.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got a print copy of Feng Shui 2, which is a great game from Robin D. Laws.
Huh.
I kickstarted it and got the PDF copy, but now I have it in print too.
Nice.
Heck yes. And a game called Engine Heart, where you play as a sad little robot.
Oh.
And your moves are basically programming like robotic protocols.
Huh.
Yeah, you're basically doing inputs, and it's... I haven't read it yet, but it's a really interesting idea. And the same person also brought a Tuhu coffee mug that that Jacob wound up with. So thanks to you. You're probably listening.
Oh.
But yeah, I did totally play Double Dash, and I wrecked it.
Nice.
Yeah. I played Splatoon for about 4 minutes before the tablet's
the battery go out?
Battery died.
Oh, that sucks. Splatoon's really good.
Yeah, I was having fun in single player because it wasn't hooked up to an account.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was, and I just couldn't figure it out in the 5 minutes. Oh, another great thing. On Saturday, they had a staged reading of Dice and Men by Otherworld Theater, which is the city's only dedicated sci-fi fantasy theater company.
Oh, did we see them at C2E2 one time? Were they there?
Maybe.
Or am I thinking of somebody else? They did a reading from something, from like a graphic novel or something.
That might have been them. That might have. But I think that was like a Shakespeare mashup thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was an original play about a guy who is the DM for his friend group, and his friend group has crisis. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty good. It was fun. Huh. I got flirted with, so that's new.
Oh, all right.
It was an audience interaction part of a monologue.
Okay.
Yeah. The pretty lady flirted with me.
Whoa.
Yeah. But that's Valeron. Another fun thing was the one-shot and campaign people, James especially, did so much programming there that I haven't even mentioned half of the things I saw just with them alone. Because this show is about us, dang it. But they finished up Saturday with a Game of Dread, which is the horror game where you use a Jenga tower.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
And when the Jenga tower falls, whoever knocked it over, their character dies.
Yeah.
So he played that with some of his improviser friends on one of the stages with a giant Jenga kit. Like, it was about 3 feet high when built, just like huge wooden bricks.
Yeah.
And they got it to 31 levels high. It never fell.
Oh my god.
It was taller than one of the performers by the end, and they had to wrap it up because the building turned the lights off.
Oh.
So that was a good way to finish my 2-day visit.
Nice.
So yeah, anybody in or around the Chicago area, I can now vouch for ValorCon being a well-run and fun show.
Hooray.
Even if it's not a particularly well-promoted show. So keep an eye out for it next year. I know I will. I guess that's that.
That sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to go to it, but I don't know if I'd actually when was it again? It was just over the weekend, right?
It was over an October weekend. I assume.
Okay.
I assume next year's will also be a mid-October weekend.
Okay, maybe I could pull that off next year then.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we could do a thing. Like I say, it's gaming of all stripes. I checked out mostly tabletop stuff because I had a 6 feet under shirt on.
Right.
But all sorts of stuff. Although that does bring us to our third topic.
YouTube.
Not as a segue, but because I'm sick of talking about the second topic. But yes, YouTube has had some pretty major changes going on. The two that stand out the most are the launch of YouTube Red and this new program where they're going to stand up for fair use in court if need be.
Yeah. So before we talk about YouTube Red, that one just happened like a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. So far, that legal help they are offering for videos that have a strong case of, hey, this is fair use, why is this being taken down, or having copyright claims on it. It's only for videos that have like a massive amount of views or are owned by YouTube users that have a huge following already. Right. So it doesn't really seem to have expanded beyond those types of people yet. So I'm not sure how much this will really affect normal people who's like, oh, I did a let's play of a game and some random thing fucking took it down. This sucks. Fair use, yada yada. Mm-hmm. It'd be really cool if YouTube was more proactive at like defending that type of stuff for all users, but I'm going to guess the little guys are not going to be like worth their time.
I think the thing is, this step is being used as, this is something that Google's human beings have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So they have to narrow their focus to the thing they can manage right now, and in the hopes that it will have a cooling effect on these copyright strikes and overzealous copyright robots.
Mm-hmm. That does remind me that, like, when you upload a game now, like a game video, like with the last Watch Dogs update that went up, that one got hit with a copyright claim because the music that plays in Jedediah's bar while you're drinking with T-Bone,
my best friend, who I will always defend.
The music that plays when you're drinking with T-Bone is, you know, an actual song that's copyright and everything. And now there's just like, because I guess YouTube gets asked this so much, at the bottom when you're uploading something and it notices that it's like a video of a game, it'll just go on the very bottoms, it'll say, if you're getting a copyright claim that doesn't seem to make sense, keep in mind that game companies usually like outsource all their music copyright management to like third parties, just because like I guess people are always saying like, hey, what is this? No. Mm-hmm. And they're tired of explaining it. But yeah, I hope something good comes out of that, because like YouTube does a lot of stuff. They're always doing something new, and most of the time, I don't know if you noticed this, but most of the time when YouTube or Google tries like some new thing, it falls through and it sucks.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if this is one of the exceptions, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
that'd be real nice.
It would actually like go along with their mantra that I don't know if they still even use anymore of like do no evil, because they're bad at doing that sometimes.
Yeah, once you make your first billion, what sounds evil changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of like stuff Google or YouTube does that falls through, YouTube Red is their new subscription model, where essentially somebody pays a monthly subscription fee to YouTube, and their videos, all videos they watch, will no longer have ads on them. And they'll get access to some exclusive programming or content that YouTube has commissioned for YouTube Red, such as the horror zombie show directed by the guy who directs the Walking Dead TV show, featuring PewDiePie as like the protagonist, I guess. So that's a thing.
Wow, it's a good thing zombies aren't attracted by loud noises.
But they're trying to get some like unique content for it, and like the only other advantage to YouTube Red is that if you have like the mobile app or whatever, you can play videos in the background while you're doing other stuff on your phone, and you can also like download YouTube videos straight to your PC.
Well, that's handy, yeah.
It's that part sounds nice, but that's mainly because YouTube has started putting out new ways to deter third-party YouTube video downloader plugins.
Yeah.
Mainly now there's like no one place a video file sits on YouTube servers. If you're watching a video, there's a decent chance, especially if it's a new one, it's like a million tiny chunks of videos in multiple different folders that it streams into one video that you watch. But YouTube Red is $13 a month. I thought it was $10, but apparently it's $13. That seems like a lot for like what it does.
It's
right
a
now.
Netflix and a half.
It's a Netflix and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, technically, YouTube does have a lot of stuff to watch, but how much of it is good?
Yeah.
How much of it's worth paying
for?
Now,
here's the question. Have you noticed a change in YouTube ad revenue since Red launched?
So I know, so there's a thing that if you had a YouTube channel, you were supposed to get an email saying that you agreed to the new EULA stuff for YouTube Red, because if you don't, then all of your videos immediately get made private. I never got that email. Our videos aren't private, so I don't know what happened there.
Breaking the law.
I need to check the ad revenue again, but when I checked like a week or so after YouTube Red started, it was the same, but also I don't think it would change that much yet because everybody who has YouTube Red right now is on a free trial. Because YouTube Red is free for the first month, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen...
Well, it's strange because I have heard reports of people looking at their revenue and going like, oh, wow, I got an unexpected bump.
Yeah, Bob
since
was...
YouTube Red.
Bob was saying that his revenue like doubled since YouTube Red went up, but I'll have to check again, but I didn't see any change in our stuff. But yeah, I'm curious to see if this works, because this is not the first time YouTube has tried to like introduce some sort of like premium model of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
There was also the whole thing was they had it was essentially like crowdfunding style stuff for some channels where you could just go to a channel and there's like a tip jar essentially where you could go like, oh, I'm just gonna drop $5 to this channel because I like them.
Oh, but does it work with Bitcoin?
No. No, that's still just for drugs, I think.
Okay.
That didn't work. If I remember correctly, there were a couple other like subscription model style things they were using that they also quickly abandoned because like the little beta trial, it was just like nobody cared. And it feels like it'd be really hard to get anybody to really do that with YouTube because I think everybody's so used to everything just being there and for free.
Right, yeah.
That reminds me, like a couple of years ago on our YouTube channel, there was like this whole thing where it's not there now, but I had the option to like set up a shop on our channel and like sell tickets.
To what?
We could have like made
the gun show. Yeah.
If we combine all 4 of our guns, we might make one actual gun. Yeah,
I've
it was
got
like
arms like legs of 4-year-old children.
It was like we could have like had a show and then gone like, "Hey, want to come to our show? We'll buy a ticket. Also, T-shirts." But that thing just kind of vanished very quietly because I never saw anybody actually use that section in their channel.
Looks like nobody's buying the shirts. Maybe they shouldn't just be white with Papa Seaman hands and black text.
No, it'd be Papa Seaman hands and then like 2 hands with thumbs up pointing at the person wearing the shirt. Now that's the shirt I gotta make. Oh God. Yeah, I almost want to get the trial YouTube Red just to see what some of their like Red exclusive content is like.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly I just want to know what the fuck the PewDiePie show is. Like what?
I don't know. I'm so confused with things that are just called Red. Because
YouTube Red is a bad name because I immediately just think, oh, redtube.com.
And not only that, but the that Bono AIDS or Africa thing, where if you buy red things, like 1% goes to Africa.
Yeah,
that was like 8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Now. Is that done? Are they done with that? Did YouTube take over that?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
Is Bono YouTube?
Yeah, Bono is YouTube.
Do they know it's YouTube?
Like anytime there's like server issues, they have to go find Bono, where the fuck he is, gotta open him up, gotta fix him. Does Bono know he's YouTube? Does he know he has every YouTube video inside of him?
That's a good question, and maybe this new fair use defense will help him figure it out.
Oh, get well, Bono. Hope you get through your fair use troubles.
Bono, there's so many cats inside you. What are you doing? Get those cats out of you, Bono.
My favorite part of Bono is the part of Bono that's just full of Russian teenagers microwaving things and seeing what happens. That's my favorite part of Bono. Bono.com.
I don't know. Remember when we all thought Bono would be like a boon to research and archival efforts?
Yeah.
And now look what happened to Bono. Just look what happened.
Number one watch part of Bono is just some guy who screams over video games.
Bono's turning red. Oh my god.
You mean I have to pay $13 a month to get access to the better parts of Bono? I can't have all of Bono now?
And they took away the way to buy tickets to Bono.
Yeah.
I think that brings us to the Q&A segment for some reason.
Well, it's really relevant because this email's about Bono.
Anyway, I'm excited for the fair use protection. I really hope it goes to court just so there's finally a precedent. I just want firm ground. I want sure footing, you know?
Yeah, because everything still feels very shaky.
Like, at Valeron, there was a panel about legal issues in video games.
Yeah.
And I actually, in the question and answer stuff, I asked about fair use for Let's Plays. And two actual lawyers just looked at me and did the biggest shrug. Hey, if you get sued, if you're going to be the text case, call us. It was their advice.
Wow, okay.
I would love to be involved in making that. There is no real applicable law.
Oh my god.
There's...
Amazing. I'm glad they at least knew what the hell it was when you said, though.
Yeah.
And it wasn't shrugging like, what the fuck is that?
No. One guideline they did say was, one of them, she came out and said that screaming profanities over the game footage would help your fair use case.
Really?
Because the more transformative it is, you know.
Okay.
So that means, just think about it, our cut and uncut commentary could be considered legally distinct depending on where a legal line is drawn. It could be right between the two of them.
Weird.
It's unlikely, but possible.
I'm sure the episode of Watch Dogs where I edited myself driving a motorcycle through a building set to music is transformative.
It transformed me.
Transformed into a good game. Boom!
But anyway, speaking of games that transform you, this one's real. Did our asker give a name they'd like to be known by?
Oh, geez. Zachary Garner.
Zachary Garner asks, I'm going to summarize.
Yeah.
When it comes to emotional content in games, do either of you feel that there are any emotions that are underused or too often misused? What emotions would you enjoy seeing a game bring out in its player that no game has really tried for? He then goes on to talk about the 7 basic/universal emotions. Those are the things that Universal NBC tries to put in every television project. But anyhow, he's talking about joy, sadness, fear, surprise, anger, contempt, and disgust. And says that anger, contempt, and disgust are, from his perspective, not particularly used. And to that point, I would say they're not particularly commercial.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any sort of cathartic disgust. Like, joy is fun. The horror genre in games and elsewhere, fear is fun.
Yeah.
Even sadness, there's a cathartic element to it.
Yeah.
It's in like, controlled, structured sadness.
Yeah.
Not so much to disgust or contempt.
Yeah, it's... Like, I would say that there's some games that might make people feel that, but not because it's like they're playing it and that's what the game is aiming to make them feel. It's just more like, oh, somebody saw hatred and they're like, oh, fuck, God, this fucking thing, this piece of shit.
Yeah, they're not engaging emotions, which means you don't keep playing, and gaming being a commercial medium. Yeah, because just like sadness is pretty rare to find in games. at least there's some.
Mm-hmm. There's even in like indie games and stuff where, there are indies out there that really just want to try something different. They might not even care about being like a quote unquote fun game. They just want to do something. Like, AAAs don't do this, I'm going to do it. But even those, I don't really think I've seen any that are trying to go for any of those three emotions, really. Well, okay, there's one I played that caused that may have also been meaning to cause like disgust. But it was just one of those games where it was like, haha, I'm really shitty on purpose. Isn't that great? It was like an anti-game of sorts where they were just trying to make something that was really, really garbage and they didn't want you to play and they like actively hated anybody trying to touch it.
Would you play that again?
No.
Would you play something else going for the same vibe?
No. Probably
Would
not.
you pay $5 to $15 for that experience?
No, good thing it was emailed to me. A Steam key was emailed to me for it. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was shit. It was just like, ugh.
Oh.
It's just, it's not an emotion that you want to stick with.
I think
it never feels rewarding.
I think if someone were to go for that, it's tricky to keep someone's hands on the controller, right? You've got to get them in a mindset where they're having this disgust or contempt or whatever feeling, and still want to see how far it goes. Like, Desert Bus comes to mind. You've just got to keep going, even though there's no reason to, and you hate every second. There's just a certain sort of people, and also charity streamers, who just keep going.
Mm-hmm. I guess there are a few that go for that, but they're very few in between, and not most people are going to stick with it, because it's just hard to imagine any kind of situation where, like, you're aiming for that, and then when you reach the end of it, it's like, well, first of all, anybody even manages to reach the end of it, and then they go like, yeah, I get it, that was worth it. Or like, there is a reason to this. Because like, they're also, when you have that stuff, it doesn't really ever feel like there's much of a reason. It's just like, oh, the reason is to make me feel this. Yeah. And that's it.
And there's a point that for a lot of people, they play games to feel less angry at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of stress relief in why people play games, certain games in particular. Mm-hmm. So why would you... Oh, I can't imagine a game that would make you go the other way around. Just like having a nice, pleasant day, and I'm going to play this game, and it's going to make me real angry.
I need to get pissed.
And I'm going to come back and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, if anything did that, it would have to be like a one-shot game that's done very quickly.
Now that you mention it and use one of them buzzwords, there's real space for this in sort of the indie RPG tabletop scene. And I'm drawing a blank on specific titles, but I think, like, okay, Freeform and Nordic LARPs are like all up in this business. There's no way around that fact. I mean, that's not exactly mainstream, but it is technically a game, and it does exist. There's nothing off limits in the emotional spectrum in that genre. Not going to see them on Feats because they don't make great radio. Also, how do you turn a LARP into a podcast?
Oh, God.
After reports? God, now I'm trying to figure out how it's going to work.
Yeah, I think the only way you would ever see games using those types of emotions or aiming to get those type of emotions is if they're like a really short one-shot thing that you never touch again.
Mm-hmm.
Just like some anti-game or like some kind of art thing where it's like, yeah, I just want you to feel this, and then like they just fuck off, and it's some weird art thing.
Are you familiar with Mighty Jill Off?
That sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It's a indie platformer that is strongly based on Mighty Bomb Jack, but it's not so much. It takes the punishing NES platformer thing and turns it into the experience of a dom-sub relationship, and you, the player, are the sub.
Oh, I think I know this. Maybe this was a couple years ago when right?
Yeah, this is well back. It's an Anthropy game.
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
huh? Yeah, I guess that could possibly count.
I mean, yeah,
huh?
It's sort of in the neighborhood, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's
exactly.
certainly a unique emotional experience for games to touch on.
Yeah, and I also feel like when I bring it up, like, there are some games that are out there to like just be shit and make you hate it and not want to play it. Those also, I feel like more, I don't know, maybe more just like not really trying to get that emotion, but just trying to make the person annoyed and like maybe a little angry.
Yeah, annoyance is a really easy emotion to hit.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say it's trying for contempt or disgust. I guess you could feel that, but like those two feel a lot more extreme than like annoy or kind of upset that this game sucks.
I don't know. A game could instill like a righteous anger if it was some sort of like political screed in interactive form.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that'd be any fun, though, but it's possible.
Huh. Yeah, those are just weird emotions for games that are generally entertainment in some kind of matter, some kind of form.
So I guess, to the point, do we feel that there are any emotions that are underused? I'm going to say slightly yes, because while they aren't used hardly at all, I don't think they should be used that much more than they are.
Yeah.
Just give me a few more weirdo experiments and I'll be satisfied, and I probably won't even play them, but I'll respect that they exist.
They really do feel like those are things that should, like, yeah, they're there, but they probably shouldn't be used that much because it goes against what a lot of games are trying to be, and also it's like, if there were a lot of games that were like that, like,
just imagine if every game made you miserable. You would find a new hobby.
It wouldn't be called a game anymore, right? Because the word game kind of implies like there's some sort of fun or enjoyment or satisfaction to come out of it, I feel. Unless Jigsaw's there.
I guess.
Well, Jigsaw still likes it.
What emotions would you enjoy seeing in a game that no game has really tried for? We talked about a few. Are there any of these ideas that jump out as you as, yes, I would play that one?
I mean, like, contempt and disgust I feel like could fit into a game that is generally not making you feel that, if it's making you feel that for a point to the story or experience of the game. Like, you're not feeling it at the game, but like at a character or event in the game, and that's what you're supposed to feel. Like that, like maybe that, but I don't know. I can't imagine much of anything where it's just like, oh, I just feel this because I feel this at the game.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything.
I'm looking for as many games as I can play that will give me this really strong feeling of smug superiority. That's what I'm in the market for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you again for your question.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
It was a Zach, you said?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Zach, for your question. I hope you enjoyed the discussion that it sparked. And how do folks get their questions on the podcast again?
Please email to chipcheesem@chipandironicast.com.
All right. We look forward to hearing from hearing your ideas, so we have something to talk about for the last quarter of every show.
Yeah. Also, I have a real quick question for you.
Yeah?
Did you get the best ending in Undertale yet?
No.
Oh,
I've been
dang
very, very busy.
Oh, man. It's real good, though.
Okay.
Just let me know.
I hope to get it before it sweeps the Game Awards.
Okay. Wow, weird. It's wearing the categories it wasn't even in.
Yeah.
Somebody goes in the backstage and hacks it Watchdog style, and then look, it's
Jeff Keighley is gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, he's gonna dodge bones live on stage. Every person who comes sit in the audience, if there is an audience, probably not, is given one free complimentary bone to throw.
The sad thing is everybody's gonna think it's like a Fallout 4 junk jet reference. Just can't win. Mm-hmm. And with that, I suppose it's time to say goodnight, folks.
Good night.